welcome back to AdamsFam Anime. I am John, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Chapter 74. We get another simple title this week called Vegeta vs. Granola. So this chapter starts off with the replacement race for the planet Cereal, the Shigarians, and the ones who are localized around the fight between Goku, Vegeta, and Granola are evacuating. And at first glance, this seems like it could just be some filler panels, but given the fact that we spend the whole first page on this evacuation, it would seem that maybe this could be a setup for the Namekian, Minato, to show up and attempt to appeal to Granola's better side, if there is one. But for the time being, that's just speculation. The conflict between Granola and Vegeta starts off with a conversation where Granola actually does seem to hear Vegeta out as compared to when Goku tried to talk to him. And one cool little artistic detail about this conversation is the fact that we're shown Vegeta circling Granola and seemingly sizing him up for weaknesses or openings. Vegeta does successfully explain to him that it had nothing to do with the destruction, or at least the initial destruction of the planet Cereal. Granola doesn't seem to be wanting to hear it though. He even mocks Vegeta, calling him a coward for trying to basically betray his boss or pretend not to have a boss in order to avoid conflict. And I'd have to say that I appreciate the writing talent here where we're showing off Vegeta's growth and the fact that him being called a coward doesn't immediately trigger him into raging out or jumping into the fight. And also worth noting about this instant is that Granola seems not to be wanting to hear Vegeta out. However, Oatmeal does seem to take note that Goku and Vegeta may actually be telling the truth. Now, even though we don't know a whole lot about Oatmeal, I think it's fair to assume that at this point it's not artificial intelligence, or at the very least, the voice is not from an AI system. However, I will digress for the time being, since I will save the Oatmeal speculations and thoughts until a further video in the future. So, in any case, the fight starts off with Vegeta appearing to send his ki or his energy into the ground, and then he seems to make some rocks levitate. I'm not sure if this is telekinesis or any kind of technique that we may or may not have seen before. I do find it a bit odd. He ends up just basically destroying the rocks. And I'm not sure if he's trying to cloud Granola's vision here, but narratively, the attack has zero effect whatsoever. And immediately afterwards, we get a bit about Granola mocking Vegeta's destructive powers. I think this might just be an intentional note from the authors to get us to speculate more about Granola and his abilities. Because even if somehow he gained the ability to use the powers of destruction with the wish, it would still be highly unlikely that he would be informed on what destruction powers are, especially in terms or in regards to God Ki. Although I will say there is a small chance that Minato, the Namekian that he lives with, may have told him about it, because he seems to know a lot about the backstory and the lore of the Namekians. Again, the Namekian lore is a topic for another video, but I do think it's interesting to note that it's possible that Granola knows about God destruction and can even use it himself. But in any case, the fight moves on, and Granola mimics the technique that Vegeta just used by making a larger rock levitate, and then he crushes it. Again, it isn't exactly clear if he was using the power of destruction, but the force of the rock being crushed sends Vegeta towards Granola, who gets in a devastating gut punch. And then what follows is kind of our run-of-the-mill typical Dragon Ball fight, where we get some ki blasts and some punches and kicks, double-fisted slams, a whole lot of the run-of-the-mill Dragon Ball fight stuff. But one thing of note is that while Granola was chasing Vegeta in the water and trying to snipe him, he was having some trouble, which led him to ask Oatmeal for an aim assist. It isn't quite clear how Oatmeal can offer aim assist, or why a native Cerealian like Granola would even need help aiming, considering he's supposed to be from a race of master snipers. But in any case, we see that this aim assist comes in the form of advice, where he tells, or she, since we don't know Oatmeal's gender, but Oatmeal tells Granola to wait until Vegeta emerges into the lake, so that way there are no obstacles in the way. Once he does, he fires the shot, and we see that Vegeta blocks it with his hands, and then it shows an action bubble saying that he was squeezing. So it's not really clear if Vegeta was just physically tanking the attack with his hands or if he Hakai'd it. Either way, the ki blast explodes and propels Vegeta out of the lake onto a shore. And it's there that Granola shows up and acknowledges Goku and Vegeta's strength. And we get to see a little bit more of Vegeta's intelligence in this situation when he discerns that Granola must be new to his power, and as such lacks the training and the experience necessary to overcome someone as powerful as Vegeta. We then see that Goku is now awake, which literally serves no narrative purpose for this chapter, so we'll move on from that. Well, the fight continues, and Vegeta proceeds to lead Granola out towards the ruined city, where he sends off one of his signature techniques where he sends off many ki blasts at once, and when he does, he creates another cloud cover. He then baits Granola by appearing in a certain spot nearby, which prompts Granola to fire a ki blast. And when Vegeta dodges it, the blast flies down and begins to destroy a part of the ruined city that Granola values or has been trying to protect. And this successfully serves the narrative purpose of pissing off Granola enough to where he starts making mistakes and getting flustered, in which you can see that he visibly is upset for the next few pages where he and Vegeta are fighting. However, even though angry, when Vegeta notes that he's getting stronger during this fight, Granola rationalizes that he should go ahead and kill Vegeta now. And when he makes that decision, you see him pierce Vegeta in the stomach with his fingertips. Now, this would appear to be a fatal blow, as Vegeta is taken out of his blue form. His stomach has actually been pierced. You can see the blood shooting out, and his mouth is even shooting out blood. But to my surprise, Vegeta actually is pretty excited. We get to see that good old-fashioned Saiyan lust for battle, and the fact that Vegeta isn't protecting any planet or protecting any people at the moment, he can really get into this battle, or at least what he calls my happy place. But we get this nice monologue from Vegeta, which I'm sure once it's animated will be incredibly hype and will have every Dragon Ball fan on the edge of their seats. Now, when Vegeta begins his transformation, Granola senses something. We don't know if it's bloodlust or if it's just a sheer spike in energy, but Granola knows enough to back off. And once he does, we see this amazing transformation for Vegeta. Can't really tell what the ki is in black and white, but it gives me a lot of vibes similar to Jiren's power or his ki when he powers up, where it kind of looks more like flames than just the bright light of ki power-ups that we've seen in the past. Granola even fires off some ki blast at it, and it would appear that those flames, or that ki in particular, just bats it away. And then in the panels following that, that's when we get the reveal of Vegeta's new form, which I think looks amazing. And I will be discussing exactly why and how that form is amazing after the chapter ratings. And without any further ado, I guess we can go ahead and start off with the artwork rating for this chapter. And the rating for the artwork in this chapter is going to be an undeniable perfect 10. Now, my reasoning for this perfect rating is that the artwork is simply beautiful, especially during the transformation. But even throughout the fights where we just get generic chase scenes or even Goku waking up, there really isn't a whole lot of wasted or blurred pages or panels. I mean, everything from Granola's artwork to Goku and Vegeta's artwork to even the rocks that Granola and Vegeta levitate into the air, they're all well defined. Everything is top notch this chapter. And it's a good thing that I'm going to give it a 10, because with the story rating for this chapter, it's not quite going to be on par with the artwork. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give the story for this chapter a 6. And that's mainly because we don't really learn anything or get any new information. We don't progress the story at all. We don't, get anything new aside from the transformation, which is more about hype. And so with the exception of the transformation itself, we don't get a whole lot to talk about or even need to discuss about this chapter, as the story is virtually non-existent. And so moving on, I'm going to go ahead and rate this chapter's hype, which I think is at a 9. For this month, we get an amazing fight and a new transformation. And I know Dragon Ball's been a little bit crazy with all these new transformations and new forms, but in a sense, that's kind of what Dragon Ball is. So with the well choreographed fight and the new transformation, I'd say the hype is up there, but not quite perfect. Since, as I just mentioned, we've seen multiple transformations and multiple new forms since Dragon Ball Super started. And so even though the fight was good, it wasn't mind-blowing. That's the only reason I'm not giving this chapter a 10 in regards of hype. All right, and so now we have the artwork, the story, and the hype ratings out of the way. That puts our average rating for this chapter at an 8.3. Great chapter, incredibly entertaining, just not mind-blowing. All right, so now that the rating's out of the way, we can go ahead and discuss a little bit about this month's chapter and what we'd like to see going forward. And I suppose the best place to start in terms of discussion would be Vegeta's new transformation. And if I had to give my opinion right off the back, I would say that this transformation seems to be obviously a god form, but it kind of looks like an in-between of Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 for me. One thing for sure, I would definitely prefer if they stopped playing around with words so much, because dropping the word instinct just before the big reveal of the face seems like a bit of a go ahead and speculate, Dragon Ball fans. That's a little too tongue-in-cheek for my taste. But in any case, we see that Vegeta's muscles seem to be a bit larger. Also, that the design of his energy or his ki is significantly different from the blue form. And now it would be interesting to see if Vegeta literally just developed this transformation or if this is something he did off screen while training with Beerus. Either way, I hope this new form doesn't take away from Vegeta's ability to use his intelligence against Granola. And I know I said that Goku doesn't really serve any purpose in this chapter, but I do think in the next chapter he will set himself up as our exposition and explanation guy. And I'd also like to see in the next chapter what Granola was jumping back for. Like, can he read ki and did he sense Vegeta's power, or was it something else that he sensed, like a mentality or a mind frame? Either way, I feel like in this next chapter, Vegeta is going to get the upper hand against Granola, and that the Namekian and Minato is going to show up and diffuse the situation per se. I imagine for Vegeta, seeing a Namekian would blow his mind, and then also learning about the Dragon Balls would be interesting, and then we might actually get a little more progression with this Heater clan and what they've been doing during this fight. All good things to think about and speculate about. But in any case, that's my review for chapter 74 of Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta versus Granola. Anyways, if you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as I'm going to try to be cranking these videos out a lot more rapidly. Also, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this week's chapter, or what your speculations or your ideas are on Vegeta's new transformation. Anyways, I'm John from AdamsFam Anime. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.